All right, hey everyone, it's Joseph Dre back again doing a heavy chest day. Today we're gonna be doing a light 225 for reps, like the NFL combine bench test. We're gonna see how many reps I can get. I didn't want to film a video last week, but my wife ended up throwing her back out. Then I ended up hurting my foot at work last Friday, so it wasn't a great week for either of us, but we're back. So we're gonna get to filming this video. I'm just gonna get warmed up here and get this 225 going. All right, we're gonna hit 225, see how many we can get. Finished the 225 reps, did a second set, just a failure again. Normally I don't go that light on a heavy week or even on a light week, but something fun I thought I would try. I think I got like 51 reps, so I haven't trained for that in years. I'll take it. Moved on to plate loaded chest press here. I'm not gonna be doing a lot of free weight chest exercises this week, so I don't wanna have to do a lot of bracing with my foot, or any bracing with my foot for that matter. So I'll warm up here and get ready for my set. My cut kind of technically started last week. Probably won't notice a whole lot of physical changes for another week or two. Big reason being is still doing my off-season cycle. I'll be stopping that and starting my show cycle soon. You know, for those of you who don't know, in a lot of sports like bodybuilding or otherwise, there's a lot of things involved like performance-enhancing drugs, such as steroids, growth hormones, insulin, etc. For me, one of my favorite off-season cycles is usually like EQ tests, and that was one of my staples the last couple of years. I did recently EQ, DECA test, some growth and insulin use. A little bit crazier than I normally do, and I don't recommend it. I probably won't do it again. I think the simpler the better, less is more in that regard. I know a lot of guys who are, say, 180 pounds who do 4 times the gear I do, and like I said, they're 180 pounds. I'm 275 pounds right now, and I usually keep my gear usage under a gram per week. I'll be doing my show cycle soon, which will consist of Primo, Mastron, for the bulk of it, with a little bit of tests, and then towards the end I'll add in Proviron. hard meal as an oral. Talking about gear usage, just want to say I'm not a doctor or physician. I do not recommend or condone the use of performance-enhancing drugs. I'm only talking about my experience and my view on them. If anything, do not do them, do not use them. They will kill you. That's all I've been told. Here's my set. All right, for my second heavy set on chest, plate loaded chest press. On the first set, you notice I got my final rep and then I still tried for an extra rep. Make sure you're going to failure. You want to get as close to failure as you can to get as much stimulus as possible for that muscle group. Dropped by a quarter, 25 pounds each side. I think I got under 8 reps. So not quite as many as I would like. Second set, here we go. All right, doing our third chest exercise. We're gonna be doing this seated fly chest cable machine. Not very specific on what it says in here, but it's a seated cable fly. So I'll get warmed up and get to it then. So like I was saying before, in terms of like the gear usage and the look, or a lot of people think that start taking steroids, you're gonna become massive and just this pro bodybuilder, which I wish. But I think like for me, I started doing them when I was 21 years old. I got up to 255 pounds at roughly 20% body fat naturally before I touched anything. And then I did my first cycle of like D-ball and chest, and I went up from 255 to 297 in 3 weeks. Not a lot of good weight, a lot of water weight. But like I think I had 19.5 inch arms naturally, and then I have like 21.5 inch arms now. So that's like 2 inches roughly in 5 years of gear usage. So I was extremely disappointed. I thought I was gonna have Ronnie Coleman size, you know, in a matter of months. Yeah, my point is, you know, don't think you can just take a bunch of gear and get the physique you want. I'm not saying you should take gear regardless, but if you're not getting size or results without it, you're not just gonna magically get them with it. So it's kind of gotta be realistic with yourself and what are you capable of, and does it make sense? Is it sensible? Is it worth it? You know. All right, guys, ready for the main set on cable seated flies here. I'm gonna do my main set, and I'm just planning on doing a drop just because I want to do a drop here. I don't know how many reps I'll get with this. I don't only do this machine. I'm mainly doing it today because of my foot, and it allows me to hit like a heavy fly movement without stressing my foot at all. That's really mainly the reason I'm doing it today. I don't really care for this machine too much, but it works for my situation. problem when I do chest on like a fly movement or whatever it might be, is trying to get my chest activated as much as I can without getting my front delts to start taking over or activating a lot. I don't really even train front delts a lot, just because for years when I trained like a powerlifter, I should say, I didn't really care or think about what muscle groups were activating during the movement, like bench press. So my pecs will take over a lot. Now, as a bodybuilder, I have to be concerned with what is activating during said movement or a certain body part day like chest day. So keep that in mind when you're doing a certain exercise. Like if you're doing it for a while, like chest flies, and you're like, man, my shoulders are sore the next day. Well, maybe you gotta go back and reevaluate, reassess during that movement. Are you hitting it at the proper angle? Using too much weight? Just keep that stuff in mind when you're doing certain exercises. All right, on to our fourth and final chest exercise, plate loaded chest press, flat chest press, I guess, versus the incline one we did earlier. Even though it's heavy week, I'm not gonna go super heavy just because I'm pretty fatigued. So I'm just gonna go like a moderate weight for myself, kind of like a slower tempo, and a nice slow contraction, but a nice powerful contraction with the chest pushing up, low centric movement, and see how many reps I get. Alright, even though it was a moderate weight, I still only got 8. Slowed the tempo down, but I'm pretty fatigued. So CNS is probably kind of burnt, and my foot injury probably doesn't help with my overall energy levels. But it's still chest day, so let's do the work. Right, doing our first bicep exercise for the day. Gonna try some strict curls. Never done strict curls. Gonna be pretty popular now, so figured I'd give them a try. Not sure if I'll do a 1 or a max or not. We'll see what I can warm up to, especially with my foot. I can only balance off the one foot. Can't really put pressure on my right leg, so we shall see. Well, I was going to announce when I warmed up for my main set. That last set was my main set. I didn't realize it. I thought I was going to get more weight than I was going to. Supposed to be my second set. As many as I could do with good form. Just trying to keep this weight off my foot to not make it worse. All right, here we go. strict curls is they are hard, but you know, being incorporating a lot more of them, I feel a lot of the bicep activation, they're definitely harder than most bicep exercises I've done. Doesn't mean they're bad though. So I think I'll be doing these more on my light and heavy week. All right, see you at the next exercise. All right, going into our second bicep exercise, doing plate loaded preacher curl. I'm just a little off today in terms of my exercise selection based on my foot, so it's not necessarily what I would normally pick, but I mean, this is one of my favorite bicep exercises, but I probably wouldn't normally do it after doing those strict curls, just because they kind of target the same thing. But if I want to get better at strict curls, that's not a bad thing. So, start warming up for this plate loaded preacher curl. All right, as you can see during my warm-up, I did the two-handed to one-handed. I've never really done this one-handed. I was just trying to see how it felt. And I attempted to do it with a little bit more weight one-handed. And it just puts too much stress on the joints. I like a one-handed dumbbell preacher curl on an incline bench a lot to get more stress on the bicep, you know, bilaterally speaking, independent from each other, but can't really do that today with my leg. So I'm just going to do this one double-handed to get the same kind of feel, but not bilateral. All right, ready and warmed up for the first working set of these plate-loaded preacher curls. So let's get to it. All right, so I did my first set of these preacher curls. I think I got like 8 or 10-ish. Sounds like I got 8 or 10. And I want big biceps. I'm gonna keep the same weight, get as many reps as I can for the second set. Let's do it. All right, so for third bicep exercise, we're doing this cable bicep machine. I've never done it before. Mainly just doing it because my foot, I don't know what else to do today. And some of the ones I want to use are taken, but I'll just try this out, make it work. I'll warm up and see how it feels. So, on like a lot of bicep exercises, is when your arms are free, you want to try to drive your elbows up. So when you're curling, you're not like buckling your arm down towards your body. You're pushing up or out and away from your body while you're curling to keep the stress in your bicep. Because like if I'm curling and I buckle in, it shortens the range of motion the bicep has to do. Versus if I keep it up, it increases the range of motion that the bicep muscle has to contract to move the weight through, getting more out of that muscle to work it more. So don't always take the easy way, but it's just a good thing to keep in mind when you're doing bicep exercises in general. That's what made me think of it. Do another warm-up set. All right, ready for my first working set on these cable curls. The wink, just so you know, is for my camera lady. She wanted an indicator to let her know that I wanted to talk after the set was done and to keep filming. So no, that wasn't for all you ladies out there. About as much as I would like to do for a set in terms of like reps, effort for my first working set. So I dropped my weight. And now I'll do my second working set. I like to keep my breaks pretty short, you know, like 15 seconds or so if I'm doing just like a drop set like that. Alright, that's chest and biceps done. A couple extra reps on the left side because it's a little bit weaker and smaller, so trying to balance them out. Yeah, so that was a heavy chest bicep day. In terms of like my show prep, I cut my calories back from like 3,500 2 weeks ago to 3,300 last week with a high calorie day on Fridays. 3,000 calories this week. And I do like 2,000 extra calories on Fridays. So my average, daily average is like 3,300 roughly. And I'm cutting back more even though I don't think I necessarily need to. Based on the fact that I won't be able to do much cardio probably for the next week or so based on my foot. Like I said, I switched my cycle over to like more show drugs. Not that I rely on those, but they don't make or break though a competitor. That's definitely the wrong mindset to have in terms of like, oh, I want to get bigger, just do more drugs. It's not, definitely not the case. You know, eat better, eat more, train harder, train smarter, sleep better. You know, there's a lot more to bodybuilding than just the drug use. But yeah, so I'll try to update more. We'll try to do another video hopefully this week. Probably not a leg day. I was hoping to do one of those soon. Probably be another week or two until I can get a leg day out. And so I'll probably try to do like a shoulders and triceps this week. And get out more info and more content. Thanks for watching.